Joining me now is the president of Americans for Tax Reform Administration, Grover Norquist. Grover, it's great to see you. Thank you so much for being here. And I know you've looked back in terms of how the tax code has changed. I want you to also look ahead for us and tell us what's most important in this bill with regard to the impact on small business and individuals. What do we need to focus on mostly, Grover?
Number one, permanence. No longer every 5 and 10 years does the whole tax code disappear and all the tax cuts Republicans passed earlier disappear, and the Democrats say, well, you can only get that if you give us more taxes here or more spending. Permanence protects all businessmen and workers, but particularly important to smaller businesses. The exemption for the small business tax has gone from 20 up to 23%, very helpful for small businesses, pass-through corporations, subchapter S. You also see permanent expensing for all new business investment, which dramatically reduces the cost of expanding small businesses, making it easier to hire more people and making them more productive. It makes it easier on the individual side. All individuals get a tax cut. Some people wanted not for higher income people to have a tax increase, as crazy as that sounds. The Republicans said absolutely not. The president said absolutely not. Rate reductions for every single American who pays the income tax. And a lot of simplification. If you go to a barbershop and you pay somebody a tip, that tip is double taxed. And right now, I mean, they tax it. If you put it on the credit card, it gets taxed through the company, and then it gets taxed when you finally get it. That we put an end to. That was fixed for waitresses and waiters a long time ago. Fixing it for hairdressers and barbershops and some others, very important. And no tax on tips also extended for people in the gig economy, which is millions of Americans.
I love all that you're saying. You're giving us real information, and thank you very much for that. We just went through the weeds a little with Senator Lankford because, you know, the pass-through entity tax election is under review here, and that's going to impact financial services, doctors, lawyers, accountants, et cetera. And I know you've looked back in terms of how the history of tax code changes has happened. But a lot of times when the Democrats accept a tax cut, they only do so with the promise that they're going to be able to spend more money. And President Trump is sounding the alarm on major tax increases in this bill. And if that doesn't pass the Senate by the July 4th deadline, here's what the president said this week. Watch.
The bill is a great bill. It's going to be jiggered around a little bit. It's going to be negotiated with the Senate, with the House. But the end result is it extends the Trump tax cuts. If it doesn't get approved, you'll have a 68% tax increase. You're going to go up 68%. That's a number that nobody's ever heard of before. You'll have a massive tax increase. If it does get approved, you'll have a large tax cut, the largest we've ever had.
And Michigan Congresswoman Lisa McClain told me yesterday the House expects to see the Senate rewrites in the last week of June. She says that will meet the Independence Day deadline. But Adam Johnson, you hear what we're talking about here, whether it's pass-throughs and impacts on small business or the impact on Americans. How much of a factor is this for you as an investor right now?
Oh, it's significant because what you're ultimately talking about is a company's ability to generate earnings, number one, to predict its cash flow, number two, and to invest in its own business. We were talking earlier about GM investing $4 billion to increase their capacity here in the U.S. And that's the kind of thing that you want to see. I think that's what this bill is trying to accomplish. But again, as Mr. Norquist has just said, it's still going back and forth, so we don't know entirely what it looks like.
Yeah. So, Grover, what about the timing here? The tax rate increase begins at up 5% points, phases in annually to a max of up 20% over 4 years. What else do we need to be focused on in this bill with regard to our taxes in 2026?
Expands the standard deduction, which is helpful. 90% of Americans don't have to itemize as a result. That's great simplification. If you use Venmo or PayPal and you pay for dinner with your friends or pay for rent with your friends, under Biden, he was going to force you to report every one of those transactions as income, and then you were going to have to prove that there were offsetting costs, or that you bought your motorcycle for $1,000 and you sold it for less, and all you had was the proof that when you sold it, you got $200, pay taxes on. That is going away. That's one of the fixes for people who work on eBay, for people who sell stuff. Big change.
Grover, do you think they're going to make this deadline, that it'll be on the president's desk in July?
I do. The Senate leadership is saying that they're going to get it done this week and this week, and that'll give us time. The House and the Senate leadership have been working on this since before Trump was elected. They said when we get a Republican president, we need to be ready. So this is not being something they're just throwing together now. This has been worked on for quite some time. They were very close for a long time.